Here's something that'll blow your mind. In 1908, you could buy a Model T Ford for $825, which is about $25,000 in today's money. But get this, the average worker back then would need to work for over 4,000 hours just to afford one. That all changed when Henry Ford revolutionized not just cars, but the entire concept of manufacturing and fair wages.
That really puts into perspective how revolutionary his $5 workday was. When he doubled wages in 1914, suddenly his workers could buy a car with just 4 months of salary.
You know what fascinates me most about Ford's early years? While other farm kids were learning to plow fields, he was building his own steam engine at age 15. The kid literally turned his family's woodshed into an engineering laboratory.
Well, that's what made him different, right? He saw the future wasn't in agriculture, but in machines. His father must have thought he was crazy.
Speaking of crazy, when Ford left for Detroit, he was walking away from a guaranteed inheritance of the family farm. But here's what's interesting. He took all those farming principles of efficiency and applied them to manufacturing.
Tell me more about how that farming background influenced his approach to mass production.
Well, think about it. Farming is all about systematic processes, doing things in the right order at the right time. Ford basically took that same mindset and applied it to his assembly line. He broke down car manufacturing into 84 distinct steps, just like breaking down harvest season into specific tasks.
That's exactly what made his assembly line so revolutionary in 1913. The time to build a single car went from 12 hours to just 93 minutes.
And here's something most people don't realize. Before Ford's assembly line, cars were built by teams of skilled craftsmen who had to custom fit every part. It was like having master carpenters build every single piece of furniture by hand.
So if we think about the broader impact, Ford wasn't just making cars cheaper, he was completely reimagining how things could be made.
Right, and that reimagining went way beyond manufacturing. When he introduced the $5 workday, other industrialists thought he'd lost his mind. The Wall Street Journal actually called it economic suicide.
But it turned out to be brilliant business strategy. Worker turnover dropped from 370% to just 16% in a single year.
Exactly, and here's the really clever part. Ford understood that well-paid workers become customers. By 1916, over 60% of Ford workers owned one of his cars. He basically created the modern consumer economy.
You know what's fascinating about that period? The Model T didn't just change how people bought cars, it changed how America was built.
Oh man, let me tell you about that. By 1925, Ford was producing over 10,000 cars every single day. The country had to literally rebuild itself around the automobile. New roads, gas stations, motels, suburbs. The entire landscape of America transformed.
That must have been both exciting and terrifying for people watching it happen.
It really was. And you know what's interesting? Ford faced huge challenges, adapting to the changes he helped create. When General Motors started offering different colors and annual model changes, Ford stubbornly stuck to his any color as long as it's black philosophy.
Until the market forced him to change with the Model A in 1927, right?
Exactly. But even then, he wasn't done innovating. The V8 engine he introduced in 1932 was revolutionary. It made powerful engines accessible to average people for the first time.
Looking at his whole legacy, what do you think was his most lasting impact?
You know, I think it goes beyond just cars or assembly lines. Ford showed that making technology accessible to everyone wasn't just good ethics, it was good business. He proved that treating workers well and making products affordable could create massive success.
That's such an important point about his legacy. The principles he established, efficient manufacturing, fair wages, accessible technology, they're still shaping how we think about business and innovation today.
And when you look at modern manufacturing, from smartphones to electric cars, you can still see Ford's influence everywhere. The way products are assembled, the relationship between workers and management, even the basic idea that technology should improve people's lives. It all traces back to that farm boy from Michigan who couldn't stop tinkering with machines.